The English Football League was back this weekend, and the first round of the EFL Cup is back this midweek as well. So I'm going to pick out 5 games that you should be looking out for during the first round of EFL Cup fixtures for 24-25. So without further ado, let's get into this. And first of all, I'm going to highlight a match that has particular intrigue, not only for me as a Sheffield United fan, but also for a lot of fans of football clubs around the world, really in truth, because Sheffield United got drawn against Wrexham. Now, if you know anything about these two clubs, they have a bit of a rivalry, at least going off of what happened a couple seasons ago in the FA Cup. Now, this was a titanic clash between these two clubs. They went all the way to a replay, went all the way to extra time as well at Bramall Lane. It was a draw at their ground, the racecourse ground, the Stock Car Rest, I believe they call it these days in Welsh. That was a titanic game there, and then obviously it went to a second game at Bramall Lane. Now, this will not do that obviously because the EFL Cup is different. There are no cup replays. There's no replays in the FA Cup. Now, that's a thing of the past, unfortunately. That's a whole mess in itself. We're not going to discuss it here. Now, when they previously met before, Wrexham were by the best team in the National League that season. Sheffield United were going for promotion that season in the Championship, got all the way to the FA Cup semi-finals as well. The fortunes of these two clubs have changed a lot since then. Wrexham, of course, have been promoted to League One now, and Sheffield United are still in the Championship, but after a humiliating relegation last season. Sheffield doing very well to win their opening game of the season against Preston North End in comfortable fashion. Wrexham, of course, doing an incredible job to win their first game of the season too. A fantastic strike in the last few minutes to beat Wycombe Wanderers 3-2 at home. Now, in terms of predictions, of course, I'm going to go for Sheffield United in this one, but I do think it's going to be an entertaining game. I'm going to go with 3-2 with this one, and to be honest with you, I can totally see Wrexham winning this one as well. As good as our first team is at the moment, I do think that we're going to play pretty much a backup reserve side. I don't see why we wouldn't do. The League Cup is not our priority. Getting promoted back to the Premier League is our priority. As tough of a goal I think that is, that has to be our goal at the end of the day. Wrexham, of course, they're going to look to win the league in League One, of course, but at the same time, they're also going to look to get some confidence really from the League Cup, and of course too, they'll probably be looking for a bit of revenge as well. Let's be real here, guys. So yeah, I think Sheffield will come out on top in this one 3-2, but I do think it's going to be an entertaining game, a close game, and a fun one at that. So let's move on to the other games. We've spoke about that one for a very long time, but it is really the standout fixture of this first round, and unsurprisingly, it's live on Sky Sports too. So let's go through these pretty quickly. So next up, we've got Derby against Chesterfield. I've highlighted this one because it is a Derbyshire derby. Chesterfield located in Derbyshire. Derby, of course, are as well. Derby back in the Championship. They're doing pretty poorly in their opening game. They're losing against Blackburn away. Chesterfield, one of the favourites for the League One crown this season. Sorry, League Two crown this season, I should say. Back in the EFL for the first time in a good few years. This is the first time they've actually played in the EFL Cup in a good number of years now. So how do I see this one going? Well, I think it's going to be closer than a lot of people probably imagine. You've got Derby, who are going to play an all reserve side. Let's be honest here. This is not their priority. Chesterfield, end of the day, they're going to go for this. I think Is it a rivalry between these two? I mean, they're both from the same county at the end of the day. Chesterfield, a slightly underwhelming 1-1 draw on their opening day against Swindon. I think Swindon are going to struggle this season. I think Derby will probably come out on top in this one, but it'll be tight. I'll give it a 2-1 victory to Derby for this one. Bromley are going to play in their first ever EFL Cup game. This is their first ever season in the EFL. They come up against Wimbledon in their opening match of the EFL campaign. Of course, these two sides are on an even footing in a sense now because they're both in League Two, both got opening day wins in their respective games. I think this is going to be these two are also not that far away in a sense. Bromley just outside of London, Wimbledon, of course, in West London. So it's not too far between them. I'm going to give it to Bromley. I'm going to go for a first ever victory in their first ever EFL Cup game. Let's go with 3-1. I'm going to go entertaining with that. Next up, we have Carlisle against Stoke. Now, I've picked this one out because I think this is a real banana skin, to be honest with you. Carlisle obviously struggling in League Two last season. Stoke struggling in the Championship last season as well. Obviously, honestly, I can really see Stoke fielding a completely backup team. I don't think they're going to go for anything like a first team kind of a lineup for these guys in this one. They got a surprising win though against one of the hopefuls of getting promoted from the Championship this season, Coventry, on their opening day. Carlisle, meanwhile, I mean, the EFL Cup does provide them with a chance of, a bit of fame at the end of the day, something to really look forward to, get a bit of momentum, especially after their opening day humiliating defeat against Gillingham. I mean, that is one of the longest trips in the EFL. I do feel for any Carlisle fan that went to that one because they lost 4-1 in it. But at the end of the day, let's. I'll go for a giant killing. Do it. Screw it. I'll do it. I'm not really basing it off on anything, but I'm going to go for Carlisle to win this one 1-0. And the last game I'm going to highlight again, just because it's a potential for another banana skin. Stockport County against Blackburn. Now Blackburn did win their opening game of the Championship season, beating Derby County, like I mentioned earlier. Stockport, Stockport in League One for the first time in a very long time. It's probably been 20 years maybe since they were at that kind of level. Getting promoted from League Two last season and back with a bang, a 2-0 victory against Cambridge United in their opening League One game of the campaign. I'm going to go with another giant killing here. I'm going to go for Stockport to win. I'm going to go with a let's say 2-1, my favourite scoreline. No disrespect to Blackburn, but their main kind of a goal this season is just going to be to stay in the Championship at least, and the EFL Cup is not really going to be their priority at the end of the day. So yeah, those are the 5 games that I've picked out from the first round of the EFL Cup to kind of open this campaign really in the EFL Cup. We're going to get the Premier League teams coming in the next round, not the European Premier League teams, the other 13 or so teams that are obviously not competing in European competitions. But so there's some big clubs in the day in the Championship are looking forward to get through the next round, and some smaller clubs that are looking to cause an upset, like I kind of alluded to in that really. But yeah, which games are you going to be looking out for, guys? Let us know in the comments below as always. And of course, keep you subscribed to see much more football content, English Football League season, and of course the Premier League coming up this weekend too. We're bringing it you. We're all here on thefootballchronicle.com. Like, share, subscribe, and ring the bell as well to see much more content just like this.